This is the Thrustmaster T128. It's the company's newest entry-level wheel, replacing the T150 and TMX, and serves as a baby brother to the T248. At $200, this entry-level wheel will be appealing to many and will be taking on some fierce competition. The guys over at Thrustmaster were kind enough to send it to me for review, so in this video I'll be telling y'all whether I think the T128 is actually any good. Real quick before we get started, note that I'm giving away a Thrustmaster TS6W till the end of November. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, comment if you want, and click the link at the top of the video description to enter. Included in the T128 package, you receive the force feedback wheel itself, a very basic set of pedals, all the cables you'll need to connect everything, and the typical Thrustmaster table clamp, which to my surprise you'll actually be forced to use, as neither the wheelbase nor the pedals can be hard mounted onto a cockpit or wheel stand. And with that, I highly emphasize that I found this product to be intended for a very young target market, as it's no more than a beginner set of gear. Starting with the wheel, it's no surprise that many cost-saving sacrifices had to be made to make this product as inexpensive as possible. You cannot interchange wheel rims, the wheel itself is almost entirely made of plastic, and at 10 inches in diameter is tremendously small. All that being said, I found it to do the job. With 13 buttons along with the D-pad, you have sufficient room to bind all your essentials. The layout of the rim is fairly ergonomic, with all buttons and paddle shifters being at close reach. Moreover, subtle red accents, a slightly different finish on the faceplate, and even a small rev indicator do try to flare up the look of this wheel. With a full plastic rim, the T128 feels cheap on the hands and doesn't provide much comfort nor grip. And to my surprise, this even feels like a downgrade from the T150, the wheel this is replacing, which at least had a soft rubber finish. It's also no discovery that the T128 is taking most of its design cues from its older brother, the T248, though I think we can all agree it's the less handsome one of the two. Magnetic paddle shifters are seen behind the rim, which although small in size do feel very clicky and satisfying to press down. As previously mentioned, you cannot interchange wheel rims since the wheelbase does not come with a quick release system, but talking about the wheelbase, it has been completely redesigned to go along with Thrustmaster's new hexagonal design language. The wheelbase is made entirely of plastic, and it too looks strikingly similar to the T248, although with 50% less force feedback strength. The T128 makes use of a hybrid gear and belt force feedback mechanism, which does a decent job for what it is and allows for a maximum 900-degree rotation. I used it in max settings at all times, and it was never excessively loud nor felt clunky like the Logitech G29. That being said, it lacks force feedback strength, and with low torque it also felt slow to react, meaning it won't be ideal for drifting and could make catching imperfections fairly difficult. In the general scheme of things though, it did give me some feedback to know what my car was doing and how it was reacting, which means it's definitely good enough for beginners. Unfortunately though, it didn't seem like a significant upgrade from the T150/TMX, which was a little disappointing. I should also mention that the table clamp along with the power supply and all other cables plug in underneath the base rather than behind it. Moving on to the pedals, if you've ever watched my review on the T150, you would know that I was very disappointed with the pedals that came with those. And some 6 years later, Thrustmaster somehow managed to make an even worse version of them. Seriously. Okay, so enough of the high quality voiceover things. Let me just honestly talk about these pedals because they make no sense to me. So, first of all, they're tiny. I mean, this is the size of my hand. I wouldn't say I have big hands, and it's almost the size of the entire pedal set. Moreover, there is no place to hard mount these pedals, so I can't put them on my sim rig. But here's what makes just no sense to me, right? So, let's say, hold on, let me get a chair so I can sit down. Let's say you're sitting on this wonderful stool. Don't worry about that, all right? So you're sitting down, and you're gonna use these pedals on the carpet or on a floor like they are intended to be used, since they have no place to be hard mounted, right? So you step on the pedals super gently and they're already like jumping up, and like I'm barely putting any force on them. And now you might be wondering, ew, OC, you're disgusting, why are you not wearing shoes? Because if I were wearing shoes, actually let me just show you. If I were wearing shoes, I mean, this is how I'd have to play, right? Like, these pedals are just so close to each other that the best way to possibly use them is, if not with chopsticks, then with your bare feet. Now obviously I'm wearing socks because I'm not giving you guys that for free. So, but regardless, right? So pressing the throttle, it makes the entire thing move. And the brake, which is a little bit stiffer, I mean, that's just... Now I know what some of you guys are thinking. Well, OC, obviously it's intended for you to place against the wall. Okay, so let's place it against the wall and see what happens. So this box, which is placed against this door, is now taking the role of a wall. So if you push down, I mean, still, and I'm barely, like, I'm not excessively stepping on these pedals, I'm literally just playing like anybody would. And on the brake, I mean, come on. I just have no idea how these pedals are even usable. Oh, so another thing I should mention, they have like close to no travel. Like, this is completely extended and then this is completely pushed down. I mean, that's like an inch and a half of travel maximum. And then the same thing for the throttle. Like, I understand this is a beginner product and the wheel's fine, but come on. Simply put, these pedals are way too small for anyone other than a child. They have little to no travel, are way too close to each other, and I found no ways of properly using them as they would lift up whenever I try to apply any force whatsoever. So unless I were to tape these to the floor, I don't know how I would make them work. As per compatibility, the T128 comes in two versions. One works with PC and Xbox, and the other works with PC and PlayStation. Moreover, Thrustmaster pedals like the TLCMs and other accessories like the TH88 shifter will work on this wheelbase. In conclusion, at $200, the T128 serves as the newest entry-level wheel by Thrustmaster, but overall I wouldn't recommend it for anyone other than a child. Other than a revamp in appearance, I don't see much of an upgrade from the previous T150 and TMX, and with far better pedals and a leather rim, I'd still rather go with the Logitech G920 or G29. I think the wheelbase itself is fairly capable, but with a cheap feeling, non-interchangeable rim, and a very poor set of pedals, only time will tell how the T128 will hold up against the competition. As always, thank you all for watching, stay safe, and have a fantastic rest of your day.